Simmons.
Just come right on up here and you need to raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the matter now pending before the court, so help you God. Let's see. Oh, I'm not sure which witness this is.
This is Peggy Simmons from the Girls Club.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're reminded of the previous instruction of the court that the testimony you're about to hear relates and should apply only to the defendant, Damien Echols. All right, you may proceed.
Would you state your name and where you work for the jury?
Peggy Jean Simmons. I'm the director from the J.W. Rich Girls Club.
All right. And what's the J.W. Rich Girls Club?
It's an organization for girls to go and play ball and have a place to go.
Okay. Now, Ms. Simmons, the defendant, Damien Echols, has testified that he had only been to the softball field, to softball games on one occasion. Are you aware of whether or not he's been to the softball field more than once?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how are you aware of that?
Well, the first night, the girls at the gate came to me.
Don't say what they told you, but what did you do in response to what they told you?
Oh, I went to the gate with the girls.
All right. And when you got to the gate, what, if anything, did you see?
I saw him coming in the gate with the other two.
All right. When you say the other, who are you talking about?
Jason Baldwin and Miss Kelly.
All right. Now, is the person that you referred to as Damien Echols, is he in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Would you point him out for the jury?
Right there.
Okay. May the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant, Damien Echols? Is the person you referred to as Jason, is he in the courtroom?
Yes, sir. Right there.
From the court's instruction that this is not to be considered against Jason Baldwin.
Well, I can't change my instruction, but I told you that this very thing would arise, so overruled. Whatever your objection is at this point.
All right.
I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know why this witness should be questioned about Jason Baldwin, since Your Honor has told this jury they are not to consider this evidence.
I gave that instruction. That's all I can do. Anything else would be a comment on the evidence. Go ahead.
And Ms. Simmons, how do you remember that particular occasion? Was something going on at the Girls Club that makes you remember that particular occasion?
Yes, sir. We started pictures on the 24th, 25th, then went to the 27th, 28th, and on through to June the 3rd.
All right. Now, what kind of pictures?
Team pictures, ball pictures, and individual pictures of the ball teams.
Okay. Now, were you also at the Girls Club the next night?
Yes, sir.
All right. And who did you see up there the next night?
Just the Echols and the Baldwin boy.
All right. The two you've identified here in court?
Yes, sir.
All right. And where did you see them on that night?
They were coming in the gate.
At the Girls Club?
Yes, sir.
And what was going on at the Girls Club that night?
We was having pictures again.
All right.
And
what else was going on? And what were the girls doing? Were there games going on? That's
yes,
what I'm
sir.
asking. Okay.
There was ball games going on.
All right. Now, on the, I guess the next Monday would be Memorial Day. Did y'all have games on Memorial Day?
No, so we didn't.
All right. And then on the Tuesday following Memorial Day, did you see any of these?
Yes, sir. The two I identified.
All right. Which two?
The Baldwin and the Echols.
Okay. Same two that you've previously pointed out for the jury?
Yes, sir.
And where did you see them on that occasion?
They were coming in the gate. I stayed out there with the girls because they were scared.
Stayed out there by the gate?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss Simmons. First of all, when was the first time that you ever saw Damien Echols?
May the 27th.
And that was the first time you'd ever seen him in your life?
Yes, sir.
Never seen him before?
No, sir.
Who was he with?
Jason Baldwin.
Who else?
Miss Kelly.
Who else?
That's the only three I remember that night.
And when you saw him there, you said you saw him at the gate.
Yes, sir.
Did you see him any after that, or just walking in the gate?
Walking in the gate, going toward the ball fields.
Okay, and did you see anything? Did you see him with anybody else that night?
No, sir.
You just saw him walk in?
I saw him go to the fields.
Okay. And how is it that you say you remember this particular night?
That's because the two girls got mixed up who was supposed to keep the gate,
Okay.
and both of them stayed.
Now, and you say you saw Mr. Echols again on a different night?
Yes, sir.
And what was the second time you say you saw him in your life?
On the 28th,
On the 28th.
that Friday. Yes, sir.
And on the 28th, did there was a policeman out there that evening, wasn't there?
On the 28th,
Mm-hmm.
Not to my knowledge on that night.
Well, when
Now, there
was the
was-
policeman out there, to your knowledge?
On the following Thursday.
On the following Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been what date?
About the 3rd, I think.
June the 3rd?
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the dates that you said that you... Did you see Mr. Echols on that date?
Yes, sir.
You did see Mr. Echols on June the 3rd?
Yes, sir.
How many times do you say you saw him?
4 times.
You saw Mr. Echols 4 times?
Yes, sir.
Now, he's the one in the dark hair. Did you see him 4 times?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Now, you gave a statement to the police, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And in the statement to the police, that was made, do you recall when you made that?
It was after they was arrested.
After they were arrested?
Mm-hmm.
And, is this your signature at the bottom of this page?
Yes, sir, it is.
And did you write this out?
Yes, sir, I did.
You did? And can you read through, just look at it for a second and see if you saw him 4 times.
Yes, sir.
Now, on that last date, the, let me see it a second. Thursday, June the 3rd, you don't write on there that you saw Damien Echols, do you?
No.
You didn't put that in just a few days after this happened. You didn't put that in the police statement, did you?
No.
Okay. And but now you're saying that you remember that you did see him 4 times.
I saw him 4 times. Yes, sir, I did. I may not wrote it, but I did see him 4 times.
Okay, so what you gave the police was inaccurate then, wasn't it? Don't you agree
for
with that?
that one day, yes, sir. Just for that one day. But the other days,
Okay. Now, how do you remember the date that the policeman was out there?
because I asked him if he would kind of watch the grounds for me.
And what policeman was this?
He was a deputy sheriff, Paul Weaver.
Paul Weaver?
Yes, sir.
And he's a deputy for who?
Crittenden County.
Crittenden County?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Was he in uniform or plain clothes?
He was in plain clothes. He was up there to have his daughter's picture made.
But you asked him to be out there as a police officer, didn't you?
I asked him if he was going to be there to kind of help me patrol the grounds, and he said he would.
That's all. I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Mrs. Simmons, did you know that Jason's girlfriend played on one of those softball teams?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? At any of the 4 times you mentioned here today, was there a uniformed police officer present on the ball field?
I don't remember a uniform, please.
Do you have a policy of having a police officer there at any time?
No, sir, we haven't had any trouble.
All right. Anything else?
So if someone had been in this courtroom and testified that a police officer was there, would they be wrong?
I couldn't say. I do not remember a police officer in uniform. There were several there that wasn't in uniform, that girls played on the team. But Paul's the only one I asked to help me kind of patrol the grounds.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, you're free to go. You want to see if your next witness is here?
Yes,
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, the matter now pending before the court, so help you God. I do.
Would you state your name and occupation for the jury?
Yes, sir. My name is George Pokorski. I'm currently the assistant band director and junior high band director in Marion.
Okay. And last year, were you, or what was your position last year?
I was the head band director in the Marion School District.
All right. And last year, did you have a person by the name of Nick Garza in your band?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And did you have a school spring concert?
Yes, sir, we did.
All right. When was the spring concert?
The spring concert was Monday night, May 17th, in the West Memphis Civic Auditorium.
All right. Now, did you have any other practices or concerts or anything of that nature in May of last year in West Memphis?
No, sir.
I don't have any further questions.
Any questions?
Just move to.
You want the same admonition? Do you have any objection to it? Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're reminded that this testimony relates to the defendant, Damien Echols.
Was it, if you could pronounce your last name slowly?
Pokorski.
Pokorski, okay. Sir, did y'all have some other concerts in May of last year?
No, sir.
All right. Were there any other practices that y'all had besides anything at the Civic Auditorium in May?
We had a rehearsal or two prior to the concerts where we got the beginning band together that Nick was in, but this was not in West Memphis. This was in the band room there in Marion. This was not one of these things that was open to the public or anything, just rehearsal.
All right. And what grade was Nick in last year?
Nick was in the 7th grade last year.
All right. So that had been the beginning band?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did y'all have any concerts, and I need to ask you a couple of other dates. Did you have any concerts on April 29th, 1993?
Can I have just a second?
Sure, go ahead. I've got three other dates to ask you about, so go ahead and take it.
There was a contest in April, but that was in Forest City. Yeah, that's right. That was in Forest City. That was like around April 23rd, possibly April 29th, but I don't. But that was in Forest City,
right,
and that also was not a concert. That was a soloed ensemble competition where students went and played on an individual basis. It wasn't a group performance.
Okay. Would beginning band students have played in that?
Yes, they would have.
They would have. Okay. All right. Another date. How about? Do you recall if y'all had any performances of any kind on May the 9th, 1993?
May 9th. No, I was getting ready to say that was possibly graduation. The graduation came after our spring concert. The graduation was 5 days after the spring concert, which was on May 17th.
All right, and one other date on May the 14th, did y'all have a concert? Or any other
That would have been a
performances?
Friday. Most likely, looking back, we probably had a rehearsal on that day in the Marion Band Room, but I don't think we had no, there was no concert on that day.
All right.
Just a rehearsal that probably involved Nick.
All right, would that have been on that Friday the 14th, would that have been a rehearsal at the regular band room or at the auditorium?
That was a rehearsal at the regular band room in Marion.
All right. One moment. No other questions, Coach?
Any questions?
Did you ever have Jason Baldwin in your band?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of student was he?
As far as I can remember, Jason was in the 7th grade beginning band, started to play trumpet and never acquired a trumpet. I think he went something like 9 weeks without the horn, and I believe I called him to my office and stuck a pair of drumsticks in his hand and said, and asked him to play a couple of things. Did a pretty good job at it, and if I remember correctly, and I said maybe one of these days you might want to reconsider joining the band on drums. He was okay in my class. This was years ago, but he was all right in my class.
Not a troublemaker, was
No, sir.
he? Remember my name is Paul Ford.
Yes, sir. I remember talking.
to me on the
Yes, sir. I
phone?
remember talking to you.
Remember telling me that you were shocked that he was charged because of his demeanor at school? Remember telling me that?
I don't believe I said shocked. I think I might have said I'm a little surprised that Jason was involved in this. If I used the word shocked, you might remember better than I did. But I think I used the word shocked when I found out I was called as a witness. I didn't know what in the world it was for. I think that's what the word shocked. Yes, sir. I remember using that word shocked.
It just didn't fit his demeanor, though, did it?
Yeah, Jason was an all right kid in my band. Yeah.
That's all, thank you. And that was, when did you have him?
Oh, either 1988. I think it was like don't hold me to this, but I think it was like the fall of 1988. I only had him for 9 weeks, and he couldn't get the horn, and said maybe you might come back next year and try drums, but next time I saw Jason was like walking around the campus or something. And
In '88, did he wear all black?
no, sir. No, well, I say do wear all black.
mean,
He didn't have any sort of outstanding characteristics that I remember, and I think I would probably remember something like that if he'd walked in the band room and worn all black all the time.
I don't have any further questions.
Anything else? All right, you may stand down. You're free to go. Approach the bench, gentlemen.
Your Honor, as a result of
Again,
Mr. Ford's
the
question.
same problem arises again on this witness when you want that instruction that it only applies to Echols, and then you ask a question that directly relates to your client. I think the instruction is inappropriate.
His
Just like
rebuttal testimony is only as to Damien's rebuttal, but if I want to ask him a question and go beyond that, What's improper about that?
Well, I don't have any problem with you doing it, but I just don't like to instruct the jury every time a witness takes the stand that it doesn't apply to your client, because on 2 or 3 different occasions there's been information that could very well apply to him, just like your objection previously.
Your Honor, I would also like to point out that through Mr. Ford's improper question related to whether the official was shocked or not, he has introduced the defendant's character into this matter, and I think that we can now go outside the record and put on proof as to specific instances of his character.
Well, I think that certainly does interject character, or at least raises the issue of character by getting the witness to attest to their good conduct or good character. So I don't know where we stand on that. As far as I'm concerned, we need to move on.
Your Honor, that's all we've got for today.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a short day again today. With the usual admonition not to discuss the case, you may stand in recess until in the morning at 9:30. And you're free to go.
Judge, just as far as if they, somebody to rebuttal people tomorrow, we won't start closings until Wednesday, or is that?
That's all right with me. It's all right with me. It's all right with you.
John, as far as not start closings until Wednesday?
Well, Your Honor, we would certainly like to, if possible, know the results of these tests on this neck.
Wednesday's all right to start.
Have they said when that did?
Well, I'll have to call them back and see.
I'd like to have y'all's instructions on what you think might
The
be
basics.
the basics, so I can look at it
Okay.
in the morning.
Do they say, are you going to call back today or tomorrow?
I think, Judge, one thing on the
I'm gonna call this
instructions, on each one of the instructions on the offense, the only way I see to do it is to do a separate capital murder for Damien and a separate one for Jason, because if you put Damien Echols...
I think you have to do a separate one for each one.
Thank you.